Hi guys, Yuri here with Impact Krav Maga in San Diego. We were getting a lot of questions recently from our students as well as ex-students about striking. And striking specifically more the role of striking in Krav Maga, the different applications, stuff like that. So as you know, those that train with us and have trained with us in the past, we're huge proponents, if you will, of striking. Striking in self-defense is key. Any defense we do is followed by strong aggressive counter strikes to neutralize, to hurt the attackers, to make sure that we have enough time to get away to safety. So you understand striking is a huge topic of its own. So what I want to start with today is just a little bit of talk and explanation and show of what we call striking from passive position. So what does that mean from passive position? Well, first of all, let's talk about the concept of self-defense. As you understand, self-defense is not like a competitive martial art. A competitive martial arts like you see MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, anything like that, there's a certain agreement between the athletes that they're going to compete on the certain rules and regulations of the sport, right? When we talk about self-defense, there's no such thing as an agreement between the attacker and the victim that I'm going to attack you in a certain time. It's understandable. So when you are faced with an attack, often there's a huge element of surprise, meaning you were attacked when you least expected, when your hands are down, when you're walking in the street, when you're sitting on the chair, whatever it is, the circumstances, we need to be proficient at being able to defend ourselves from any position, which also means we need to be proficient at striking from absolutely every position possible. So, it would be best, if you think about self-defense, that we always have our hands up and always ready for an attack. But that's not always the possibility. It's not always possible to see that or to be in that position. So then we can say, well, what if our hands are down? Can we still strike from that position? And the answer is absolutely. And in fact, striking from hands down could have a certain element of surprise. And when we talk about self-defense, if we're already committing to a strong and aggressive action, such as a strike, element of surprise works to our favor. Meaning, I don't necessarily want to give away my intent that I'm going to strike. Once I commit to an aggressive action, the faster, the more decisive my action is, the more likely I'm going to overpower my attacker. Okay, so let's look at the mechanics of the strike. First thing is first, let's look at it to see how it looks from a perspective of the viewer, meaning from your perspective. The idea of the strike is fast, explosive action. Let's look at the same strike but a little bit more contact using the bag that's behind me. So again, I'll show you a single strike and then maybe we'll do a short combination. Alright, so again, goal, explode. Put maximum power towards the target. Try to hurt the attacker if you must. If this is the last resort, we have no other alternative. Do enough damage, get away to safety. Let's break down the components of the strike a little bit more. So the first thing about the strike is what I mentioned earlier, no telegraphing movement, no telegraphing your actions. So what does that mean, telegraphing actions? Meaning, simply put, giving away your intent to the attacker. So what gives away the intent? Well, many things do. First of all, from hands down, if I take a step back to set up my feet, for example, this type of motion, where my feet are aggressively moving to establish a strong base to allow a better strike. Although maybe, and it is actually in fact a stronger strike, the problem is it's very much visible to the attacker. Other things, bring your hands up and then striking. Although, again, bringing the hands up is a bit safer. Again, we're losing the element of surprise. Other things we don't want to do, wind up the hand. So this type of action, where it looks stronger, but again, very much visible. So everything comes directly towards the target. So look, if the target is in front of me, my striking hand, which is this hand in this case, from this position, from the hands down position, goes directly towards the target. This is the motion. It does not come up, it does not go back, in. Other hand comes up at the same time. At the same time, what I'm doing is I need to generate power. So where's the power come from? And we took a whole separate topic on power, but let's just briefly discuss the mechanics because the mechanics dictate the power. Power comes from the body. So the first thing where the power comes from is from our feet. What we're doing is the same side foot as the arm that's striking, you're lifting your heel and you're slightly turning on the ball of this foot. And as you're turning, you're driving your way down into the ground a little bit. And what this is doing is transferring the energy to your hip. So see how it's rotating my hip. The more your hips rotate, the more your shoulders rotate. So it's like a chain. One link throws the next one into action. And as the shoulder rotates, arm extends, thus delivering the maximum power strike. And of course, the last thing here is, as soon as my arm is about to make contact, I'm making a very strong fist, directing my two top knuckles towards the target, penetrating the target, and recoiling. So generally, when we talk about striking, we always mention three main components. Arm, or weapon, arm in this case, towards the target. Through the target is the second component. And the third and very important component is the recoiling of the arm. Going back to protecting yourself, ensuring there's more power to the strike. So again, just to kind of summarize, basic mechanics. You have arm going towards the target, other arm protecting yourself, making sure you are rotating your body. And one thing I actually didn't mention, I want to talk a little bit about it right now, is the concept of the strike to ensure that you're protecting yourself with the striking arm. What does that mean? Look at the difference from this angle. This versus that. Hopefully what you can see in the second version is by bringing my shoulder up and keeping my chin down, I'm much more protected on this side than here where my chin is exposed, which by the way is the most weakest part when we talk about being hit. So here I want to protect myself as striking. So as I'm striking, shoulder is coming up, chin is coming down. Other hand, like I showed you before, is also coming up, so I'm much more compact, much more protected from all angles. Hopefully you get the concept of the fundamentals of this punch, and like I said, this is only the beginning. Hopefully we'll make a lot of videos about this topic, different type of punches from different positions, from fighting positions, half-ready positions, to different angles, different type of strikes, not just limited to arms. We can use knees, kicks, and so on. We can even do some videos about conditioning ourselves to make our punches stronger. How do we use our body to the fullest extent? How do we develop power? Formation of the fist, which is a whole topic of its own. Other striking services like palm strikes and so on. So there's much to discuss. This is just a short introduction so you get a perspective of what we're dealing with to answer some of the questions that you were having. Thank you.